guys are.
All right. Here with head coach Justin Hill. I have the SLC tournament. The floor is open for questions.
Coach, just talking to Cooper and Elliott early, they've really had big improvements to this season. A lot of them both of them started out a little bit slow. Elliott more because he had injuries. Just how proud are you of those two guys, the way that they've handled this season and how they've improved at the end of this season?
Yeah, it's a lot different when you're play a supporting role. Cooper Hex did that for sure last year, more of a supporting role with other strong players around him. And then when you have to be the feature guy, the guy hitting the lead off 2, 3, so they circle you. It's a little bit different. You got to handle the pressure differently. You get pitched a little bit differently. I think he's handled that really well. Obviously, there's not always success with that. There's struggles with that. You got to have the ability to overcome adversity and be able to fight through. And he's done that for us this year. Same thing for Elliott. We knew Elliott was kind of be a feature guy. Like we were kind of built the lineup a little bit around him, and losing him for the first part, all the way through the beginning of conference play, and then still not being 100%. Obviously, it's a different guy. It's a different team. It's a different offense when he's in there. So really proud of them. And so it's not just how well you do, but it's a lot of the adversity that you overcome that tells you a lot about their character and who they are. So anybody can do it when it's easy, but when it's challenging and you fight through it, again, really proud of those guys.
You're following that theme. You've used that word in some form or fashion really all year. Proud of how they kept battling and grinding. You just mentioned it in regards to their character and sticking with this thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you really go and look at the construction of our group, and we talked about this. We didn't really say it out loud, kind of publicly or anything like that. But we got a bunch of guys that had. Maybe they got kicked to the curb by another program. Maybe they weren't highly recruited. Maybe they had never been the feature guy, kind of like we talked about with Cooper, and just some other guys. They've never had to carry the load. They've always been the people that you overlooked or overshadowed, or maybe they only got one shot, and then they just kind of got cast to the wayside. I don't know. I've kind of prided our program in being the group where you can find yourself a little bit, where you get second chances and second opportunities that we're going to believe in you. And that was the thing the whole time with the group and the conversation with them, even through in the middle of adversity and the losing streaks and the tough opponents and how many of our games we were away from home and just all the stuff was. It was just the thing. Hey, we're going to refuse to not believe in you. We're going to believe in you. And you got to fight through that. And I said, even if you don't believe in yourself, I'm going to believe in you, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep pouring into these guys. And if you notice, man, since second half of conference, I've just taken a step back. I didn't have to. They took over. The whole team took over, which was the idea. When the team takes over and it becomes their team, and they become a part of our program. See, that's the thing, though. They don't have to be the group that was the FERTA group. They don't have to be the group that was that won this championship and things like that. They're their own group. They're a part of the program, but they're their own team, and they have become that. And you started to see some personality coming out. We've got some really weird double dances that they do. The triples, the homers, and just all the things they do. They're starting to collect their own personality and just be confident in who they are. And so that's what I'm really proud of. It's not just what they've done, but what they've overcome.
Braley, he didn't play the last 2 games.
Yeah.
How is he? And
Limited, I don't know. So I just we'll see. We'll see. It may have, we didn't get to the point to where we knew we didn't have to play him those games. We didn't even test it. Hey, if we could, would we go? I think he would have gone if it was a championship setting on our side of it. So we'll see. We're day to day. He's going to go through more limited today, kind of scale back. We're going to go full scale workout tomorrow, and then we'll be ready to go. But again, I think that was the kind of the part of it. Just even on Saturday in the last game of the season, that was one of the first times we had where things really didn't work out right. And then Easton Dow gave us the great game that he had. He was on base 4 or 5 times. I know he scored 3 runs, had 3 hits, and made some really good defensive plays. Just all the things. He stole 3 bases, and so that's another growth moment for our team. And again, just proud of him.
What does he have?
Lower body injury. Probably the best way to say it. So
hockey
yeah, something like that. So just limited in some things, and The other thing that factored into it, I mean, they had a lot of rain down there. Didn't want to put him on a slick surface. Again, so just out of caution, because what we told the group was, and that was the same reason of taking Lejeune out of the ball game late, even as hairy as it got. It was, hey, we can't win a championship this weekend. We could lose one, and so we're playing for a championship this week. And so that was really the caution that we took.
Coach, wanted to ask you about the bullpen. They've gone through a lot this season. I noticed even last week during the midweek game at Texas State, you had Day on the mound, and you went over to him to instill confidence in him. I saw you have a little conversation with him. Just the confidence that you instill in these guys to keep at it, and the things that they've overcome this season. What do you have to say kind of about them?
I believe in them, and look, it's the world we live in right now, and just the nature of the business of sports, whether it be transfer portal and bringing in transfers. And when I say that, it is certainly not a negative connotation. You just have less time with them, and so you have to teach quicker. You have to teach more clearly. And with Dalen, I mean, we've literally had him since the middle of January, and to implement him in our system and some complex things that we do, how we hold a runner at second, do some things, and to just build trust as quick as possible. So that one of the things that Dalen asked me he wasn't even throwing yet, he was watching bullpens, and the first question, that legitimate question he ever asked me, he goes, "Hey coach, how did I gain your trust?" That was the first thing he asked me, and I was curious to where it all came from, but the answer was, I said, "Man, I trust you already." I said, "The only thing you can do is lose it." I mean, I said, I'm gonna trust you right now, because if I sit there and have to guess and whatever and earn your trust, I said, we're going to be too far down the road. I said, man, I trust you, and we've just built that relationship, but the best way to build a relationship is go through stuff together, good times, bad times, tough times, and when you do those things, you start to figure out who people are and what they want. I mean, his want to is so huge. He's one of those guys, even though I'm going to only have him for 5 months, I'll remember him forever, and it's just, you go, man, what would it be like if I could have had this guy a couple of years, or at least a full year, just to get to know him and help him grow as a player and as a person. But he's been extremely enjoyable, and I think he's going to be a big part of us this week.
The fact that you had to use so many pitchers in so many different roles, does that help going into a tournament?
We'll find out. So, I mean, look, we started to figure out, hey, what's the recipe? What's the recipe? And the recipe is obviously to get out to a lead offensively, is to have some of our best bullpen guys at the back end of the ball game. That's been Ty, that's been Lejeune, and we've had other guys in different roles, whether it be JT Miller, whether it be Kanan Morrow. Max has had some moments. And that's the thing with conference play, especially the tournament. Sometimes it gets a little nasty late in the week, and so I'd like to see it get a little nasty. That means we're playing late in the week and kind of seeing how we are.
Coach, going all the way back to even the preseason scrimmage against LSU, talking to a lot of these guys, they said they felt like this was one of the most complete batting lineups that they've had. Injuries have played a factor, but having Larinaga now, Hebert, Hollins, all these guys back, Peck's playing so well. Is this kind of what you envisioned as a coach, to have this lineup at the end of the season all healthy and really peaking at the end of the season when it matters most?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we went back to, I don't remember some of our conversations, but when we first started, I mean, we thought the offense was the thing to carry the group, because we had so many question marks from a pitching standpoint, and again, just a massive void. How many straight years was it? The pitcher of the year, 3 straight years. With Rogers, with Dion, relief pitcher of the year, and things like that. I mean, that was the big nucleus of the team for a while, and just you have such a void with that. And not that we couldn't do it. It was just they needed to have time. They needed to have time to kind of figure out who they were and how does this group figure some things out. So I think we kind of answered some of those questions on the pitching side of it. They showed that they could carry us early, but we found we're at our best. There's not a feature guy. Okay, there's Cameron Lejeune. Okay, I mean, he's the guy when it comes to this group. We feel good when he's in the ball game. He's earned that. Everybody knows it. But for everything else, it's just a complete team effort. It's a complete group. And that was our goal from day one, was to become the best team we could. And I think we're starting to knock on the door of that a little bit.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.